Hi, this is Mary Egbert from Camaj Handspun Yarn, and I'm going to do a review on the Ashford Country spinning wheel. It's quite a large wheel and it's really intended more for art yarns, but you could spin other yarns on this as well. Okay, so first of all, we'll kind of go over the parts of the wheel. This is the brake. It's made out of leather and it's attached to a bolt with a nut. Now the brake determines how fast or how slow your yarn pulls onto the bobbin. So to take this brake off, you want to turn that nut towards you, and then it will just slip off of the flyer, the little flyer part there. Not sure what the name is called. Okay, then to put it back on, you're going to slip it on and then turn the nut away from you. Now to determine how much tension you have on your brake, you'll kind of figure it out once you start to spin. You know, if it pulls in too fast, then you want to let the tension go. If it's not pulling in fast enough, you want to turn the nut away from you and increase the tension on the brake. All right, the next part of the wheel is the flyer. This is the flyer, and this is the bobbin. To take off the flyer, you have to pull the brake off first, and then you're just going to lift the whole part up. The bobbin will pull off of the flyer. And there's your bobbin. And you can see how big this is. This holds about 2.2 pounds of fiber. So if you like to spin a lot of thick and bulky yarns, and you don't want to end up with just maybe 30 yards on a regular spinning wheel, this is probably the one for you. Also, the orifice is quite large. It's 7 1/8 inch. Which is almost an inch in diameter. And my thumb fits through it and has like a lot of room left. So if you're doing really bulky yarns or really huge coils, again, this is the wheel for you. Okay, and this is the drive band. And the drive band fits in a groove on the larger wheel of the spinning wheel. Okay, and then the drive band will attach to the back side of the bobbin. This is your whorl. And you see how big that whorl is? Sorry, there's the part where the band fits in. So the bigger this piece, the slower the wheel is going to turn. So if you're doing smaller yarns, some people say just treadle faster, but don't. It's just a slower kind of thing, and you can spin thinner yarns on this, but it's just going to take you longer. So if you're kind of a thin yarn spinner, you may want to consider a different kind of wheel. All right, so to get this bobbin and the flyer on, you want to just slip the end of your bobbin into that metal piece of the flyer. You want to make sure that the groove is on the back side, not the front. And then there's a little groove back here. You're going to slip this little metal piece into. Okay, then I'm going to set this part right by the brake. I'm going to put that leather band back on, and I'm going to tighten up my tension. Okay, then the drive band you have to attach to the big part of the wheel. And then it's going to go up and over the bobbin. So when you put this on, you got to make sure this drive band is over the top of your bobbin and not underneath that metal part. You'll just have to take it off and put it back on again. All right, so you have hooks on both sides. There's some on this side and there's some on this side. If you have the flyer flat, the hole is right here for the yarn to go through, okay? And it doesn't matter whether you put it on this side or this side. What matters is what way you're going to turn the wheel, whether it's going to be in the S direction or counterclockwise, or whether it's going to be in the Z direction clockwise. So you can always put your yarn through here, and then it doesn't matter, it's just the way that you turn it. All right. Now we're going to get a leader put on, and I'll show you how to put the leader on. And I just take any sort of yarn. You can tell I've used this one quite a while. and I'm just going to make a knot in it. Now what I have found is if I just tie it around the middle of that bobbin, you can see I just tied it right there. It's just going to slip. It's just going to go around and around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of duct tape, because I just can't tie a knot tight enough for it to stay. So I'm going to take a piece of duct tape and I'm just going to tape that leader on there, and then it will be secure when I start to spin. Okay, so I have my leader, and this is my little hook, orifice hook. So I'm going to bring it through the orifice, and I'm going to pull that leader thread through. Okay, so this is your leader, and this is what you're going to attach your yarn to spin. So again, if you're going to spin a single, you want to go in the Z direction, or the clockwise direction. If you're going to ply or make coils, you want to go in the S direction, or the counterclockwise direction. And that's pretty easy. Okay, and then I'm going to show you a really simple way to kind of get this wheel going. It was probably one of the hardest things for me, but I'm going to show you a little trick. So I just wanted to show you the back side of the wheel. So this is the back side, and this is the back part of the bobbin, and this is that groove where your you know, that little band goes in, the drive band. So when you want to take off your bobbin, you need to pull this band off. And one of the problems with this wheel is once you pull it off, it comes off everything. So you're going to have to put it back on that big wheel and put it back on the top. So then you would take that off, you would lift this up and take off the flyer wheel, take off the bobbin to take off your yarn. And then to put it back on, you need to put it on this big wheel. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I'm just going to call it the big wheel, the Wheel of Fortune. And then you're going to pull it up and then attach it back to your bobbin. Okay, so one of the hardest things for me was to have the wheel go in the right direction. Instead of having to push the bobbin or lean over and push the wheel to get it going, what I figured out is look at my feet. The pedal on the right, if you start it in the up direction and push on it, it's always going to go clockwise. Okay, if I start it with the left pedal in the up direction and push on it, it's always going to go in the counterclockwise direction. So you can actually just manage this wheel with your feet, and that was one of the hardest things. I mean, I wanted to throw this thing through the wall when I first got it. And all you have to do is start with the right pedal up to go clockwise, start with the left pedal up to go counterclockwise. And that way I'm just controlling the whole wheel with my feet, and I don't have to use my hands at all. One other thing about the Ashford spinning wheel, it comes in a kit. It means it comes in pieces and parts. So you have to put it together. It also comes unfinished. So you need to finish it if you want it finished. I mean, the wood will absorb a lot of oils if you don't protect it. So what we did with this wheel is my husband actually finished it with a nice cherry finish, and he put like an oil on it, or like a tung oil. Some people paint them, some people decorate them. But just to let you know that if you're not handy with the screwdriver, this is probably not a wheel you want to get. But if you do have a handyman, or if you are kind of handy with a screwdriver, then it's okay. This wheel costs about $550. I've seen them upwards to about $650 for this particular wheel.